So Dan, thank you for joining me in here. How are we doing?
Yeah, really good, really good.
Are you all right without Neil today?
No, I'm missing it. No, it's great. It's great him being away for a bit. I get a bit tired to myself.
Love that. Absolutely love it. So we've got a stat that kind of blew my mind a little bit actually, which is 105% of what was listed by avocado agents in January sold. Now it's the first time that I can remember the avocado group selling more than what they listed. But what's even more mind blowing is in the southeast, the average for a estate agent is down at 62%. Now we've seen these high numbers in the booming market, but there's a big 43% difference between what we're doing at avocado and what the other agents are doing. You guys have had nearly 3 years. We're into the third year. We spoke off camera about.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So what's the difference with the success of the avocado agents versus the average? What are you and Neil doing that's so different to the rest?
I love this question because actually I'm so passionate about it because it's actually what we do on a daily basis when we're speaking to people.
Live and breathe it now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I think it's actually fairly simple from our point of view, the difference. Big gap actually, isn't it?
Massive.
Didn't realise how big the gap was.
Yeah, nearly double.
Yeah, which is a huge amount. And you think that's almost a 50% chance you've got of selling with one agent or with us.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a crazy number.
If you've got 10 neighbours all on the market, there's a good chance that all 10 will sell with avocado, whereas only 5 out of the 10 would sell with other agents, or 6 out of 10 in all fairness. So yeah.
And I think it sits in with a lot of our beliefs and our qualities and how that works. So I can sort of break it down.
Yeah. What's the process that you and Neil take when you go to meeting a client on valuation to hand in the avocado Alan over on the key completion day? What's sort of the rough breakdown?
So first of all, it's really understanding what the sellers are looking to achieve. Everyone's in a different scenario. You know, some people are upsizing and need to find that perfect home, and that may take a bit more time to find the right one. Certainly, at the moment, if there's less on the market. Some people just need to sell and they're moving away and want to get it done quickly. There's things like, divorces and these things happen. So there's lots of different scenarios people selling. So it's understanding that first and foremost.
Yeah.
And then just tailoring the way we deal with each person. But the marketing strategy works for everyone, which is what's so exciting about it. So we need to ascertain what the price is. I think that's the most important part.
Especially at the moment. Yeah.
So important.
Yeah.
I think I actually had a conversation last night with a valuation. I was saying how frustrating it is. I wish I could sit down, everyone in the UK thinking of selling, and explain these stories to them so they can see it. In fact, I'll go through the story about one that's happened recently. So there's a property that was on the market last year with another estate agent, quite a bespoke home, very beautiful. It's a cottage.
Nice.
Started its life with them at 550, reduced to 525, and then they were being told to reduce it to 500, and that was in December of last year.
So you could say they were chasing the market a little bit because the market had changed at that point, hadn't it?
100%. They were chasing them. They got the wrong advice with price to start with. You've got one opportunity, I believe, to get that price correct and get that buzz around your home to get you the best price. But unfortunately, people are misled to think, well, if I put it on at higher, I'll get higher, or I'll get more interest, or people will make me an offer.
Yeah.
Well, actually, people don't do that. People will buy what they think it's worth. And if it's a really good house, they want to do it quickly.
Yeah.
Something's not the right money, they won't look at it, or they'll just sit and wait.
As happened with that one.
Exactly. To take advantage of it when it's then the right price and probably make a lower offer. So spoke to me in December. I said with our marketing, it needs to be on a 500, but I feel we'll get you more, but that's the right money to go on at. And we'll do it as a new listing. It'll be completely new to the market. It'll look completely different. So we did that in January, went for sale with us on the 13th of January.
Okay.
Had 3 offers on the 21st of January with 8 qualified viewings.
Wow.
And it's under offer for 530,000.
Wow.
So 30,000 more than the asking, 5,000 more than they even had it on for at the last opportunity. And that agent only got them 3 viewings, by the way. And all 3 viewings were done by different people.
It's amazing.
So it's a number of things. It's a really good storyboard to fit in with it because the property only had 8 photos and a short description. And the photo was from the back garden looking at the house.
So it wasn't selling in its best light at all.
No. And actually, it's a very pretty property. We used a drone to get up higher and go further back because you've got fields around it. And it's a semi-detached cottage. It's got a lot of charm.
Yeah.
So I want to showcase that. So first of all, to make that more inviting, the property wasn't on mains drainage. It had an oil-fired boiler.
Okay.
And it had a ecological cesspit. So where the waste drains out naturally, so to empty it, but it's quite confusing or daunting.
Yeah. If you don't know that, I guess if you're an agent if you weren't the agent that did the valuation and then you're doing the viewings, that's a hard one to actually grasp in the first 5 minutes of being there before the buyer turns up, isn't it?
It is, yeah, it
Yeah.
is. And even to the fact the water's from a shared well. So there was
Wow.
nothing about this property,
Yeah.
but it's really cool.
Yeah.
And actually, one of those things I'd never come across before. I'd never sold a house where the water's from a shared well, so I actually really understand it. But because it's just me doing it, I get all that information beforehand. But every viewing I arranged knew about it and were prepared for it.
Yeah.
The marketing was right, the price was right, and then they met me at the house, and I went for everything again in detail. Those 3 offers came in on the day of that open house and then qualified again over the weekend. It was sold by Monday. So it shows you that by one person looking after that process, you can really give the right detail and get confidence with the buyer.
Yeah.
And it makes a big difference in them committing what they want to pay for the home and also securing it to move forward.
I think that's a powerful story because it highlights the fact that what is the estate agent industry? And I've barked on about this for a long time, that people think it's a sales industry, but what you've highlighted there is the best salesperson in the world couldn't do that previously. What it needed was someone to go on the appointment and really listen to the seller's needs, and then to create a really good marketing campaign that, I guess, showed the property in its best possible light, which worked because you attracted 8 viewings, nearly 3 times what the other agent had in months of marketing. And as a result, because the quality of the viewing had the same person in there that understood the property, no one had anything hidden. Everyone knew the knowledge from day one, and you achieved over asking. And I think if you've got 530 on that property, and when it came on the market, it was 550, maybe that was market value back then. We've seen a 10% correction.
Yeah.
And you've got over market value potentially on that particular cottage just because it's been done properly. Or maybe it was worth more than 550 back then. It was just badly marketed.
That's my theory. I actually think potentially when they first went on, it might have been worth a bit more than where it sold for with us today or a few weeks ago. But actually the strategy and approach in marketing was the wrong one. And this is what I really want to explain to people. The first thing is your price. It is so important. Please forget about the 10 years ago when your parents sold, they put it on at 10% more because you're going to get offers 10% off of the asking price. People just won't view. Your buying generation now are very savvy. There's a lot of information for people. It's so easy to get hold of what's available. You're not just looking at the paper in the morning going, oh, that house is on, we'll have a look at it. It's very different.
Yeah.
So to get it right first time is so important. And the price for me is the most important part. And I will always give people real advice on where the price is. And if people don't use ourselves because they would like or been led to go on a higher price, that's absolutely fine. But I always walk out head high knowing I'll give them the right advice. But the people who do it with us, do it right, well, they're sold in 7 to 10 days with offers over the asking, picking the buyer that suits their circumstance, picking the buyer with the best deposit or best chain or cash, or can move to the time frames they want to move to. I mean, another one, for example, one in Shinfield, we had multiple offers on a 425. It's under offer at 440,000, and they have 3 really good offers at very similar prices that they would like because they've got a baby due in May.
Right.
They prefer a quick exchange. They're prepared to move before May, but they prefer to move in the month of June.
Yeah.
2 of those higher offers wanted to do it before May. The one they chose, which is a couple of thousand less than the highest offer, was happy to exchange soon, but wait until whenever they wanted to in June.
Love that.
And for the buyer, that's what would you rather, pick that and do it that way? Or they could have gone on at 450, at some point got an offer, and that one offer they get, they're almost like, well, I have to take it, whatever the buyer's circumstances, and put the ball in their court because we need a buyer.
I think that's so important because you find that information that you understood, you got from the valuation, and in normal day estate agency, and why this percentage is so different, that's not necessarily shared with the negotiator that then has only met the buyer potentially and is almost indirectly working for the buyer just because they've connected with them on an emotional relationship level because they've met them. They wouldn't have understood that was really important. They would have probably pushed the buyer that was maybe the highest price or the one that was using their mortgage advisor or whatever it may be. But in this case, you've linked the needs together, and it hasn't so happened being that that's the highest price potentially. It's just the right scenario. And what you're talking about price then, I know Ryan Bloomfield talks a lot about, regardless of what market you're in, it's always a seller's market if the seller is on at the right price. And what you've created with those two examples is a seller's market. The seller is dictating the price they accept based on what they've received, and the seller is dictating which buyer is the right one that suits them. And yeah, maybe a buyer's market by average, but you can create the seller's market by listening to good experience. So awesome stories. It shows why you guys, you and Neil, and the rest of the Avocado Group are creating such success. And the evidence is that 105% of what was listed was sold. We built this brand for this market, and it's nice to see that we're in the market now. And the evidence is there that the gap is widening between the group, the brand, and obviously the average agents out there.
Absolutely. And it's exciting because I actually get excited in a market like this more so than when it's just rocking and rolling, because this is, as you said, we got excited about it. It's our third year now in doing it with Avocado, and it's been amazing the first year. It's absolutely incredible. But also we know we're not stupid, we're not fools, that market has been, for different reasons, bolstered and pushed because of stamp duties and mortgage rates and everything else, has been quite good.
Mm-hmm.
And what I like about this market is it shows the people that can really do it, because not everybody can sell a home and give the right advice in a market which is a bit more challenging. I don't think it's on its knees at all, but it's definitely more challenging. And it's just how you work to it, and all the things that we've got in place as a team at Avocado enable us to just be different. And that's why we're getting those results. Certainly the marketing, which is the other part, is just second to none. We're selling properties through Facebook and Instagram still. Without it going on Rightmove.
Live beat the portals, and we're getting inquiries, and properties are, like you say, off market. We had Matt Pulford from Wokingham sat on the sofa where the neon light is yesterday, and he was negotiating a viewing for a buyer that had inquired, that was specifically looking for something that he then posted on social media, that another one of his sellers had seen and referred his mother-in-law to Matt. And he was negotiating the off-market viewing. That's all done through social media. Nothing's on Rightmove. You don't get that in other agency worlds. This is the future of, and the present, I think, of how things should be done.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Yeah, love those stories, Dan, and wishing you and Neil all the success in year 3. It's going to be exciting to watch. And like you said, I think this will be the year where the agents that can't quite cut it will fall short, and the ones that are really strong will go to the top of the pile.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you've ridden the success of the market in the last couple of years without doing anything a bit different or trying to stand out, then you may struggle this year.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing.
No worries. Thank you.